What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, bringing you the second annual How I Would Book TNA Bound for Glory. Welcome back. This is a video where I'm going to give my, if I was booking TNA, how I would book Bound for Glory 2012. I did Bound for Glory 2011 last year. I'll link that in the description. I thought I put together a awesome card with the talent that TNA had at the time, and I plan on doing the same here. I only do this for big shows. I've only done it for WrestleMania and Bound for Glory. I'll link both of those in the description, actually. And if you want, you can go see what kind of stuff I would put on the biggest show of them all. And yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing here. So I kind of hesitated doing this because I wrote this up like 2 weeks ago, and then TNA put out their pretty much final card for Bound for Glory, and it's very, very similar. There's only 2 matches that are different, and hell, they might even add these matches to the pay-per-view. There's still like Impact this week, and then that's it for Bound for Glory, I believe. I think it's October 14th. Yeah, I think so. So anyways, I was hesitant about doing this, but I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it anyways. So a lot of the matches that I'm gonna go through, TNA already has on their Bound for Glory, and for the most part, I think all the matches on their Bound for Glory make sense. Their Bound for Glory is probably the best thing that they can do with what they have, except a few things, and I will add that. So let's just go through what I have real quick. I got 8 matches, and the first one I would have for the X Division title, Zema Ion taking on Jesse Sorensen. I think this match needs to happen at a Bound for Glory. Like, there's just so much history between the two. You know, Zema Ion, the one that broke Jesse Sorensen's neck and took him out. And, you know, Jesse Sorensen, you know, he comes back, you know, with a fully healed neck. He wants that X Division title. He wants revenge on Zema Ion for just injuring him. And that, you know, it's okay to injure him, you know, if it was an accident, but then he bragged about it. So, you know, kind of the whole respect thing, like, hey, you don't try and hurt wrestlers. You just try and go out there and put on a good show. So you got that whole personal beef, and I think that this would just be so good to like culminate at like a Bound for Glory. I don't think Jesse Sorensen will be healthy enough to do this at Bound for Glory, so they might hold it off until like a Lockdown or a Slammiversary, which is fine. But you know, I'd try my goddamn darndest. I'd try my damnedest to try and get Jesse Sorensen to wrestle Zema Ion, even if it's only like a 5-minute match or whatever. I just think this type of caliber of a match, like, there's just so much riding on this match. You know, Zema breaking his neck, and just like, it would mean so much at a Bound for Glory type pay-per-view. So I would love to see this at Bound for Glory, but again, I don't think Jesse's neck is that well healed. But hopefully they have this match sometime down the line. And I'd definitely have Jesse Sorensen win the X Division title here and beat Zema Ion, you know, finally getting his revenge. Just the guy that broke his neck and took away like a year of his career. Also, you know, taking the X Division title. So I think that'd be great at a Bound for Glory. So that would be the first match. Next would be Allison versus Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan, the second gut check participant, I believe. You know, he's been antagonizing TNA the whole time, and you know, his first match on the biggest stage of them all, Bound for Glory, like, that's just amazing. So that would be cool as shit. It's gonna happen. TNA has that listed as their thing. If I were them, you know, if Ryan wins a contract, if Joey Ryan wins, he earns the TNA contract. Personally, I think, like, I don't know, like, I had this whole scenario played out in my head, like, Al Snow would win, beat Joey Ryan at Bound for Glory, but Joey Ryan doesn't drop the lawsuit against TNA, and then they're like, oh, if you drop the lawsuit, okay, we'll hire you. You know what I'm saying? They're like, that's how they would hire him. But it would just be funny to see that, like, he lose at Bound for Glory. But I'd love to see Joey Ryan join the TNA roster. I think he's a solid pickup for the X Division, which I think is slacking again. X Division has been on and off. you know, since last year. Actually, the Destination X pay-per-view, sorry about that, was actually okay, but they've never been consistent with the X Division title. I don't even think they're gonna have a match at this Bound for Glory. So I think Joey Ryan's the perfect person to base the X Division around. Kind of like an Austin Aries. Like Austin Aries, you knew he was really good, and he just superseded that X Division spotlight, and now he's a TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So I think Joey Ryan is capable of doing the same thing and being a type of Austin Aries type person, to where, like, okay, he does really good as the X Division champion, let's bump him up. So I'd probably have Joey Ryan win here. Or, you know, what I said before, you know, Al Snow wins, and then Joey Ryan's like, oh, I still got this, I'm still suing you, TNA, because he laid his hands on me. But, for the most part, probably have Joey Ryan win, earn himself a contract, and, be the newest superstar in TNA. Next is Tara versus Brooke Tessmacher. This is also on Bound for Glory. I think this is the only women's match that makes sense. You know, women's division really lacking in TNA right now. It's pretty garbage, to be honest. There's only like a couple, and you know they're now starting to use ODB more, and like it just seems like they rotate a lot. Like sometimes they'll use Sarita and Rosita a lot. Sometimes they'll use Mickie James a lot. Gail Kim. How about Madison Rayne, former women's champion? A month ago, she was like the hottest thing in the women's division. You know, she had that whole thing with Earl Hebner. Never saw her. Like, she hasn't been on TV for like a month now. Like, it's just crazy. So I think this is the best thing they can do with the women's division. You know, Tara having her boyfriend, hopefully that spins out into a storyline. I think her boyfriend's gonna end up being that Big Brother guy that they hired a year ago, and he's been training at the Team 3D Wrestling Academy. I think that's gonna end up being her boyfriend, and they can play up his whole he was on Big Brother, and like, you know, Miz was on Big Brother? Miz was on a reality TV show, but they might go that route with this guy, so I see that happening. But for the most part, I think Brooke Tessmacher is gonna take this victory and be the X Division title, or be the Knockouts champion, and yeah. So next is Samoa Joe versus Magnus for the TNA TV title. I would definitely have this on my pay-per-view just because it makes the most sense. You know, they were a tag team early on this year. They ended up breaking up. Magnus blamed it on Joe. And now that Joe's the new TV champion, why not have a match of Bound for Glory? It makes sense. So yeah, I definitely have this on the pay-per-view. To be honest, I'm kind of leading towards Magnus winning and being the TV champion, but I don't know. You know, it's a toss-up. I wouldn't mind either guy's winning. I'd probably go with Samoa Joe, and then they have a rematch and Magnus wins. Something like that. But another thing that I would do, since, you know, this is my Bound for Glory, I would have Matt Morgan at the end, you know, come out. They've been doing some stuff on Impact, like Morgan attacked the referee at a house show or something. So, you know, maybe integrate him into this feud, make it a three-way. Or even Crimson, man, he hasn't been on TV for a while. Ever since, like, James Storm ended his win streak, he hasn't appeared on TV, and that was, like, a Victory Road? So that's, like, 4 or 5 months ago. Just, again, another talent that they just flipped, or not consistent with. So you could integrate them in this team, or into this feud. There's a bunch of things you can do, but I wouldn't mind either one winning. I'd probably lean with Joe, and then again, like I said, rematch Magnus, let him win at the next pay-per-view. Next is AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Christopher Daniels. Kurt Angle and AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels and Kazarian versus Chavo and Hernandez, three-way for the TNA Tag Team titles. I would also have this on my Bound for Glory. You know, I would probably just lean towards Daniels and Kazarian versus Chavo and Hernandez, but, you know, AJ and Angle, they're not doing anything, and they're kind of a team. Not really. So, you know, why not throw them in there? And then you got a three-way, so that's probably going to be like a really good match. To be honest, I think Chavo and Hernandez would take the victory here. What I would do is I don't know about AJ Styles. Like, he's just done everything. Like, he's feuded with everybody. He's won every championship. What I would do with AJ, put him back in the X Division. Let him lose this match. Let him get his head, like, you know, kind of like what they did with James Storm. You know, he lost, and then he's like, you know, should I retire? I couldn't beat Bobby Roode. And just have AJ Styles do the same thing and just be like, you know, I lost. And it's just like, you know, I've been you know, I've been the person that I know I could be. And, you know, I want to make that up to the fans and to myself. And I want to go back to my roots. I want to go back to the X Division. And, you know, you have AJ Styles come back to the X Division, wrestle some of these younger guys, have some more fast-paced matches. And I think that would be really good for AJ. That's what I would do. Also with Kurt Angle, so that's what I would do with AJ. With Angle, I would, the whole Wes Briscoe thing, it seems like he's part of Aces and Eights, so, you know, that might branch off into a feud between the two, so that I would do that. And then, you know, I'd have Chavo and Hernandez win at the pay-per-view, and then have them feud with Daniels and Kazarian a little bit more, and then hopefully, on Gut Check, they bring in another tag team. Because, like, what TNA needs is women and tag teams. Like, that's it. You have a okay X Division roster. You just don't use them. You have Kenny King, Sanjay Dutt, Kid Cash, Robbie E., Douglas Williams, all these guys, and you just don't use them. So it's like, just use them, you know? You can have a really good X Division, but they decide not to. Women, they got the one, Taylor Hendricks, I believe, you know, they can use her as a women's wrestler. But as far as tag teams, maybe push Kid Cash and Gunner. What else? Robbie E., Rob Terry. These are all guys that could be great tag teams, but aren't really given a chance. So rounding that out, I would have Chavo and Hernandez win, and then maybe rematch against Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, and then branch off into Chavo and Hernandez versus Kid Cash and Gunner. I think that would be a solid tag team match, in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's what I would do in my universe. Next is Robert Roode versus James Storm. These two have so much history. It's like, you gotta have a match at the biggest pay-per-view of them all. So it's like, you definitely gotta have them. I don't know what match they're having at Bound for Glory, but I would go with an I Quit match. That's just like, it seems like all the build-up would lead to a perfect I Quit match between the two. So I'd go with an I Quit match between Storm and Roode. I would not include King Mo. If this was me, I'd get rid of King Mo, get this MMA fighter away from wrestling. It has nothing to do with wrestling. Stay the fuck far the fuck away. And I'd probably have James Storm win this pay-per-view. You know, it's the biggest pay-per-view of them all. And this will kind of actually, okay. Well, this just popped into my head, but this could kind of lead into. I'll talk about this more in the main event. But I'd probably have James Storm win. Next match, I would have a 5-on-5 elimination match. I would have Team TNA taking on Aces and Eights. So I'd have a 5-on-5 elimination match, Team TNA versus Team Aces and Eights. And for the TNA team, what TNA is doing is they're doing just a tag team match. They're doing Sting and Bully Ray versus Aces and Eights. That's fine, but I think it should be a 5-on-5. That's my personal opinion. You know, you have Sting and Bully Ray, but there's also 3 other people, you know, 5-on-5. So on Team TNA, I'd have Sting, Bully Ray, people who have legitimate gripes against Aces and Eights. Another person that I think should be on the team, D'Angelo Dinero. They took him out at Hardcore Justice, and you know, he lost his opportunity to fight for the TNA World Title, so he's pissed. I'd throw him in that match. I'd throw in RVD. I was thinking about either RVD or Mr. Anderson. You know, they get attacked on Impact or something, and then they're like, you know, I want to fight Aces and Eights, and you know, I'd throw them on. I threw RVD on. Mr. Anderson, I didn't include him on this pay-per-view just because it wouldn't make any sense to put him on any of these matches, so I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll put RVD instead. And so it'd be Sting, D'Angelo Dinero, Bully Ray, RVD, and the last person would be Abyss. Abyss, he saw what he did to his brother. You know, they fucked him up with a hammer, and he's pissed about that. He wants revenge for his brother against Aces and Eights. So he's like, you know what, Sting, I'm back. I want to take on Aces and Eights. He's the 5th member. And Aces and Eights, I don't know who the fuck. Just pick 5 random people, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it'd go a 20-minute match, and what I would do is, the final participants, you know, Sting and a member of Aces and Eights, they're going back and forth. Oh, referee gets knocked down. You have someone dressed as an Aces and Eights come out, attack Sting with a guitar. Hint, hint. I'll talk more about this in a second. Knock him out with a guitar. Oh shit, there's only one person that uses a guitar. Aces and Eights win, and then that person who knocked Sting out with the guitar unveils himself. Turns out to be Jeff Jarrett. It's not going to be revealed that he's the leader, but he's involved with Aces and Eights. You know, on a later Impact, on the next Impact, he will reveal himself as the leader and his motives, and maybe unveil the whole, you know, I've been in India. He's been in India and Mexico, but, you know, I've been to India and Mexico and blah, 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 doing the Raka King thing. After you guys booted me out of TNA, and I've found this great group of young wrestlers that will help me take my company back, and basically, bam, TNA versus Jeff Jarrett and what he thinks is right. And on his you know, rumored members of the Aces and Eights are Luke Gallows, Chris Masters, Mike Knox, Wes Briscoe. Those are a few names that have been thrown around. I don't know if any of them are confirmed. I know at least Luke Gallows and Wes Briscoe are probably confirmed. The rest, I'm not so sure about. But, you know, you have them, and you just got a big feud. Jeff Jarrett, I don't know if it could last a year, at least until lockdown, probably. And, yeah, you have a whole feud right there. Jeff Jarrett wants his power back in TNA. It's his company. But Hogan... Alright, sorry about that. My answer... Oh, God, this has been a terrible commentary. I've been interrupted so many fucking times. You might hear all the cuts and shit in the commentary, and I apologize. So anyways, like I was saying, I don't even remember what I was saying. Whatever, it would be a feud leading to lockdown. You know, Dixie and Hogan are in power. Jarrett wants his company back, or at least a top spot. And, you know, he's got this whole team of thugs and bandits, and they're going to try and take TNA and help Jarrett retain his company, or regain his company. So that'd be interesting. And the main event, the only thing that makes sense, Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries for the TNA World Title. You know what? I've been thinking about this a lot, like who should win. And I'm leaning towards Jeff Hardy. I like Austin Aries a lot, but Jeff just, you know, he's a lot of things more than Austin Aries. You know, he's a bigger name than Austin Aries, sells more merchandise. He puts the asses in the seats. And I just think he's an overall better representation of a champion. Even though the Victory Road incident, I know, but, you know, Jeff Hardy's the money draw. That's what's going to put asses in seats, so that's why I think Hardy's going to win. And then this might lead to Jeff Hardy-James Storm feud, or a match at least. Maybe even a 4-way Jeff Hardy, Robert Roode, Austin Aries, James Storm in a 4-way at the next pay-per-view. A lot of ways they can take this, so it'd be, for what I would do is I'd probably have the 4-way at the next pay-per-view. Hardy, Aries, Roode, Storm, 4-way, bam, there's your main event. That's what I would do. But TNA, they're probably going to have Jeff Hardy win. And it'll probably be Jeff Hardy and James Storm at the next pay-per-view. Which, you know what? That'd be okay. So overall, I know our TNA's Bound for Glories are similar, but there's a couple things I would do differently. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, would you buy this pay-per-view? This pay-per-view, I've assembled all 8 matches. You get a full pay-per-view card for $35-40. Would you buy this? Would you buy this, or would you watch it online? Let me know. And again, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Catch my Bound for Glory predictions very soon on a weekly wrestling review. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Peace out.